just here recording away and my camera turned off and I was like, why did it turn off? Because I didn't hit record. Great. Take two. Hey everyone, it's Nicole. Oh, Nutter, you're leaving? Okay then. Just me then. Welcome to my channel. So today's video is for the newest release from Orly. I have their new holiday 2023 collection called Twas The Night. I am recording the intro of this video in October, so I'm feeling a little salty that, you know, we're at the holiday season already. But I guess when you guys are getting it, it'll be November 1st, so whatever holiday it is, I guess. The products featured in today's video I did purchase with the Orly Color Pass. However, Orly did also just send me in this collection in PR. As always, all thoughts and opinions are my own, but you know, I just want to give you all some disclosures. If you see me saying that I bought the Color Pass and you see I listed as PR, that is why, because I also got it in PR, so I don't want anyone to be confused. And obviously this video is unsponsored. I spent my money here. So as always, down in the description box, I will have links to where you can pick these up. Orly is sold in a variety of places, so it should be popping up for sale any day now. The best pricing for these outside of, you know, sales and Black Friday, which will be coming up shortly, is on beyondpolish.com. I do have an affiliate code with that website where you can save an additional 10%. Price things like a little bit lower for the mainstreams than, you know, other places where mainstreams are sold. So that is one of my go-to websites to purchase, you know, Orly polishes at a lower rate. But you know, shop where you want. Also down in the description box, I'll have links to the Orly website and social media pages, my social media pages, as well as a link to my blog post on NicoleLovesNails.com where I host all of my swatch photos, as well as provide a written review. And of course, timestamps are down there as well. Let's just get into this video. First up, we have Cozy Night, which I'm going to describe as a medium teal cream. I absolutely love colors in this shade. I found this to be a very cool tone teal. It leans a little bit more blue than green, but I would still say it's definitely teal. Because of that blue lean, I did find that it does want to photograph a little bit more blue leaning than it actually is in person. I would say that my swatch photos as well as the outdoor shots best show that true tealness to this one. All of that to say, the formula on this one was very much on the thinner side. If you work in thick to medium coats, it will run and pool on the sides of your nail. I ended up needing 3 coats to reach full even opacity because it was just running to the sides of my nails and I absolutely hated it.
I don't like it. I don't like it. I don't like it.
Which really sucks because other than the topper, I thought this was going to be my favorite polish from the entire release and it just was not good. While I did not personally experience any staining with this one, I would definitely recommend wearing base coat. I feel like this one is a potential stainer. Next up, we have Regal Pine, which I'll describe as a dark pine green cream. Much like Cozy Night, this one is another thin polish. You really need to work in thin coats or it will run and pool down the sides of your nail and you'll just be in for a bad time. Working in thin coats, this one had okay coverage in 2 coats. I could see a lot of unevenness, so I did also add a 3rd coat for my full hand swatches. I'll call it a 2 to 3 coater depending on how picky you are, but I know for me, if I ever reach for this again, I'm definitely just going in for 3 coats. I feel like this polish has like a slight level of like a squish factor like it would if it was a jelly or a crelly, so maybe it's a little crelly leaning, and I feel like if I'm going to call it like a crelly leaning polish, I'll give it a pass for being a 3 coater, but I can't give it a pass for being thin and watery. Like I can't do it. Which is a bummer because this is not really a color that I gravitate very strongly towards, but I did end up liking how it looked on me. So that is Regal Pine in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. Easy removal, but just watch out for staining. And because we've gotten a bunch of different greens from Orly the past month, here they are all side by side, and as you can see, you know, nothing terribly similar about all of them. They all have different feels. And now we have Spark, which I'll describe as a metallic copper flaky topper in a clear base. Had a pretty good formula. It's in a clear base, so you can put this over whatever color you want. You're seeing here in the application that I'm brushing it on, but I'm also doing like a little bit of dabbing and doing shorter strokes instead of like long brush strokes, and just kind of zhuzhing the brush around, getting the coverage that I like. Found when I applied it like a normal polish that I wasn't really getting great coverage in the metallic flake, so I decided that was like the best method of application for this one, which is not at all atypical when you have like a chunkier glitter. These flakes behave more like a glitter shred than like a typical flaky, so they do dry down with a little bit of texture. I found I had a couple of flakes on my nails where they kind of laid down poking up a little bit, so you might benefit from 2 coats of top coat with these depending on if you get any of those pokey uppy bits on your nail. I went back and forth on if I thought this was a rose gold or a copper. In my personal opinion, it doesn't have enough pink to be rose gold and it has too much orange to be gold, so that's why I'm going with copper, because like it looked more copper to me than any of the other metallic colors. The formula is thinner than I expected, but in a good way, because that thinness does make it a lot easier to kind of zhuzh your brush around and get the flakes exactly where you want them. This polish removes like a glitter, so I would not recommend attempting to scrub this one off. Definitely use the soak off method or use a peel off base coat for the easiest removal. And now we have Snow Angel, which I'll describe as a very, very pale baby blue. If Orly ends up calling this one a blue toned white, I would not be surprised at all. Like, this is a very, very pale shade of blue that is very much skirting the line on, is this a blue or is it like white that has a blue undertone? Because generally colors like this are not my personal cup of tea, I went into swatching this one with very low expectations, just because I just knew this was not going to be the color for me. The polish was slightly thicker than the other polishes in the release, but by no means like super thick. I'd say it probably has more of a normal consistency, but it seemed like it was thick because I had so many thin, watery polishes in the release. For such a pale color, it did apply pretty nicely. I found that in order to get even coverage, I needed 3 coats, which I don't generally find too unusual for colors that are this light. I think if you aren't as picky as I am regarding light spots and you float your coats on, this could be a 2-coater, but my full hand swatches show Snow Angel in 3 coats plus glossy top coat. This is probably the only color in this release that like it's not giving me any kind of holiday winter vibes. Like, I suppose it's icy, so there's some winter there, but I don't see it. And now we have Sugarplum Soiree, which I'll describe as a metallic, berry, shimmery shade. This is the color that tends to pop up this time of year, and I'm just kind of like, you know? Between being like a metallic-y, almost pearly shade, between being like a berry red shade, just they're not 2 combinations that I generally like very much. In typical Nicole fashion, I will admit that I do think it's a pretty color. It looked pretty on me, but it's still not something that I would ever see myself reaching for. On the positive side, this had phenomenal coverage. I found the formula and application were both absolutely fantastic. This had one of the better formula and application experiences of the entire collection. You go in for a slightly thicker coat. I think coverage is nice enough in 1 coat that you could call it good in 1. I do find that it was a little bit too sheer for me personally to call it in 1, but it was fairly even coverage nonetheless. It did have a little bit of visible nail line in bright direct sunlight, but I found overall it wasn't that noticeable. So that is Sugarplum Soiree in 2 coats plus glossy top coat, super easy removal, and I had no issues with staining. And the final polish is called Velvet Ribbon. I'm going to describe this one as a Santa Claus red cream. This polish also has that slight kind of squishy, crelly leaning formula that some of the other creams had in this release. Not as sheer as I would usually expect a red crelly to be, but it is not like a 1-coater by any means. I didn't find that this one had a super warm undertone to it, so it didn't make my hands look like lobster hands at all. If you don't already have, you know, a Santa red cream or 12 of them, this is not a bad one to have. I fully recognize that not everyone has the same polishes in their collection, and being annoyed that we have yet another Santa red cream in a holiday collection is not something to be annoyed by, but I still feel a slight annoyance nonetheless. So that is Velvet Ribbon in 2 coats plus glossy top coat. Super easy removal, and I had no issues with staining. Figured someone might want to see this, so here's a comparison of Velvet Ribbon to the most recent addition to OPI's oh so long list of red Santa creams. I don't think any more commentary is needed on this one. Alrighty, so final thoughts. I think the color story is very pretty. I was kind of like about this release, like I thought the things did look holiday as opposed to, you know, the breathable fall / holiday, which didn't feel holiday. These do feel holiday for the most part. And one thing I do like about these is that whether your holiday is Christmas or Hanukkah or hold on, let me look up Kwanzaa's colors real quick. I feel like no matter what holiday you celebrate in the month of December, I feel like there's something in this release for everybody, be it, you know, Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa. All the things seem to fit in there as far as I'm aware. Those are the major holidays I know of. For December, I might be missing one. I don't know. When Orly initially sent me the release for this one, I was most excited for this glitter topper. I thought this one was gonna be really, really fun. I don't dislike it per se, but I'm not like in love with it either. But it's cute, and I don't feel like I have a metallic flake topper that's exactly the same as this. So I do appreciate them throwing it in there. You really do benefit from kind of zhuzhing things around with your brush and not just straight like stroking it on as normal. I usually prefer things stroking on as normal, but I feel like the application on this wasn't bad enough that it was reminiscent of that, you know, triangle glitter topper they did a couple years ago. As a whole, I did not like this collection. I'm really surprised, honestly. In the time that I have been purchasing Orly, which I think I started buying their releases regularly, ColourPass starting in 2020, I believe. I feel like in the time that I've been buying ColourPass, I don't recall having a collection that had so many polishes in it that like I did not like the formula. I feel like usually Orly's cream formula is like top tier, beautiful, buttery smooth application, and these creams were just not top tier, buttery smooth application. They were not for me. They just were not for me. Like, I think the colors themselves are beautiful, but the three coaters, the thinness, the runniness, I feel fairly confident that I could find other things in my collection that are similar color-wise to these, that I would not really reach for these again. This release was not for me personally. I would love to know what everyone else thought of it though. I had a lot of fun doing my rankings for the fall collections for my fall review videos, so I decided I'm also going to do them for the holiday. For the sake of simplicity, I'm going to include all holiday and winter releases together and just have them there. So thus far from what I've seen, I think Zoya is going to be number 1 for me as far as winter releases go. I think China Glaze is going to get number 2. I think OPI is going to come in at number 3. Essie is going to be number 4, and then Orly, sadly, I think is going to be in 5th place. I feel like the only way for Essie to be in 5th place is if the formulas are really bad. And in the time I've been reviewing Essie, I don't really think I've had like a really bad formula from them, but I said the same thing about Orly and here we are. So, and I do want to just explain my current guess for the ranking. The only reason China Glaze is getting number 2 over OPI is because I didn't really like the OPI Holiday Collection. I didn't think it was bad. It wasn't for me personally. As long as the formulas in that collection are good, I feel like it's really going to be a toss-up on how much I love the Zoya glitters, if China Glaze is going to be at number 2 or number 1. The color story on China Glaze's holiday collection looks really cute. So yeah, I can't wait to get to swatching all the rest of the holiday releases to see what we think of them. My China Glaze holiday collection is just shipped today, so I should have that up sometime next week. Before we end today's video, I want to give a very special shout out to my channel members. Besties, just thank y'all so dang much. Your names, of course, are all on the screen right now. You guys are seriously the best. If you'd like to sign up for my channel memberships, I have a link for that down in the description box below. As always, please do not... Is my lipstick gunky? Oh my god, I had lipstick on my teeth this whole time? Oh no. Oh, this lipstick makes my teeth look really yellow. I didn't realize that. Shit. Well, too late now. We're just gonna go with it because like I'm not re-recording this. This was my second time recording this. I'm not doing it again. So ignore the lipstick on my teeth, please and thank you. So just thank you all so very much for watching today's video. Sorry again for the lipstick on the teeth for the whole thing. Have a fantastic week and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.